Now let us talk about root pressure. We have discussed about the active water absorption. So first thing that you have to keep in mind is that root pressure is a manifestation of active water absorption only. Okay? And one more thing that is to be kept in mind is that root pressure is a positive pressure. Now we are going to discuss about these. But before we do that, we are going to see a demonstrative activity which will make you understand that what basically root pressure is. First thing that you must keep in mind before getting to that activity is that the positive pressure is like the one which is generated when you push something, okay? That is the positive pressure, the simplest way to understand positive pressure. Supposedly I am having a water column and it is going this way, so the pressure is applied from this direction. This means positive pressure. Supposedly there is a pull that is being generated from this direction and the fluid is moving, then it is negative pressure. This is what positive and negative means. I'm repeating it again. In the terms of positive pressure, if the water is moving in this direction, then the force is being applied in the same direction, then it happens to be positive pressure. But if the direction is this and the force is being applied in the opposite direction and pulling something, as you pull a door, that is the negative pressure. So we have the root pressure that is being observed. It was observed by certain scientists. First of all, this root pressure was observed by Priestley. You must remember name of this scientist. Why? Because he was the one who discovered oxygen. So Priestley discovered the root pressure in certain plants. Now what was this root pressure? Firstly, it was manifestation of active water absorption. As a result of active water absorption, a pressure was being generated which is not more than 1 to 2 bar, not more than this. Okay, as less as this quantity. Pressure was being generated inside the root column, which was acting a source where the water is going to move and reach up to the leaves, and it was a positive pressure that was exerted by the water column itself. There was no external force which was acting on itself. Due to its own pressure absorption, water absorption that was taking place, it was exerting the pressure. The water column itself was exerting a pressure on the water column to move forward. So this was what root pressure was all about. Let us see the activity that is being used to observe this root pressure. You take a potted plant that is well watered prior a day before this activity is being performed. Then you add, this is the pot, if you can get an idea. You put a potted plant over here, add the stump of plant. Then what you are supposed to do, you're going to cut the upper part. This would be the stem of the plant, okay? Now what you have to do is you have to add a rubber clamp over here, and the stem is to be connected to a instrument known as manometer, which is provided with mercury. Okay, there is a fluid in between for separation of mercury from the rubber clamp. This mercury that you see over here is the part of manometer. Supposedly in the beginning you are having this mercury at a point A, okay, and you have clamped it to a stand like this. This manometer is added to a stand. This stand can have labelings as well. Now what you observe is that because the stem has been decapitated, this is the stem, this is the pot, you have taken a manometer structure where this would be closed, of course, not open. A rubber clamp is used in order to avoid any sort of evaporation if there is. This potted plant is going to absorb the water from the soil. As a result, what you observe that the level A of mercury rises up to level B. That means there is a positive pressure that is being exerted. This is a very simple activity that you can use to demonstrate the root pressure. That you take a stem which has been well watered a previous day, then you cut the stem's leaves, only a part of it that happens to be the stump. This would act as a stump. This stump is provided with a rubber clamp, and that is connected to a fluid containing manometer which has mercury in it. Now this mercury is a fluid which rises as a result of a pressure that is being exerted by the roots. That means the water was being absorbed, the roots are absorbing something and putting pressure. They are exerting a pressure onto this water which moves further and makes the mercury level rise from point A to point B. So that would give the root pressure. Now one thing you have to keep in mind that this root pressure is found in certain plants and it is a positive pressure. It is because the water that is being absorbed by the roots when each cell of the root is acting osmotically. The osmosis is taking place. As you know that inside the roots there is xylem column. That trachea element of the xylem, it acts as osmotically active zone and each cell is being passed on that osmotic activity and they absorb the water from the root itself. That absorption enables generation of a pressure and that absorption is active absorption. Active absorption means ATP is being used over here. So the positive pressure due to the absorption of water which involves ATP leads to generation of a pressure as much as 1 to 2 bar, and that pressure being generated by the root water column is known as the root pressure. This root pressure theory had a long hold while it was being discussed that how the absorption of water is taking place in the plants, but later on it was discarded. It was discovered by Priestley, as I told you. Later on it was discarded. Why? Because this much value you cannot ascertain to the huge plants which are almost as tall as 400 feet. The gymnosperms do not have root pressure at all because they do not have trachea elements. As I told you, this root pressure was result of the osmotic activity inside the trachea elements of the xylem, and gymnosperms, they do not have trachea elements. So in those plants which are so huge, which are having a height of more than 400 feet, redwood trees as you must be knowing, this much pressure can make the water rise from here till here or at max this place, okay, a few centimeters I would say, not more than that. And the plants that are undertaking this absorption process, they make sure that the water reaches the topmost leaves, then only there is the process of photosynthesis that takes place. But such a low pressure cannot be ascertained to the actual absorption of water. So there was certainly a desire to know what actually is happening inside the plants, and root pressure was soon discarded. But it was not completely discarded because it is observed in plants. Now there are certain seasons when root pressure is observed. In tropical plants, in rainy season you observe a lot of root pressure inside the plants, and one live example of root pressure is guttation. Guttation is a phenomena where the sap comes out of the leaves. We do discuss about guttation when we talk about transpiration, another phenomena that involves another type of pressure. So for now, root pressure was discovered by Priestley. It is an active water absorption manifestation. By using ATPs, there is a positive pressure that is being generated inside the roots, and the pressure does not exceed this much. It is seen in most of the plants, not all, but most of the plants, and root pressure is maximum when the conditions are favorable. That means there is a lot of water in the soil that would be absorbed and exerting the pressure onto the leaves. The pressure that is being generated is not able to move water upwards more than 1 to, you can say, 3 to 4 centimeters. So low is the value, and this is one activity that we use to demonstrate the root pressure. Remember, the apparatus name is manometer, which uses mercury, and it shows that the mercury column is rising because of the pressure that is being generated inside the roots of the stem, which acts as a stump. And lastly, what is one big proof that root pressure does exist? It is guttation. So don't get confused what guttation is. We will talk about it in the subsequent lessons when we discuss about transpiration. So with this lesson, you should be quite firm by now that there is another theory that would be waiting for you to get introduced to, because this theory was not complete. So we are going to see next the theory which is going to be complete and in well accord describes how water is absorbed inside the plants.